Don't press play unless you're ready for a chill to run through you. Because these true stories from the world of Western film and TV will pull you in and not let go. Watch till the end, because I've saved a few names that will surprise you, plus a short, simple way we can honor these legends together after the video. This isn't gossip. This is a quiet ride through real lives, brave work, and endings that came to fast. Take a deep breath, settle in, and let's remember them with care. The power of a Western isn't only in dust, hats, and horses, it's in the people who carried those worlds on their shoulders. Some lived long, peaceful lives. Others met endings that still make fans stop and whisper, if only. That mix of courage and sadness is why we're here, to give thanks, to tell the truth simply, and to keep the music of their names alive. As you listen, think about the scene that made you love each one, and stay until the last line, because the final minutes bring the lesson all these stories share. Here is our roll call of famous Western stars who met tragic fates. Told straight and with respect, Tom Mix, the silent terror cowboy who turned the early Western into a living myth, died in a car crash on a desert road in Arizona. Fans still leave small mementos near the site because his daredevil spirit helped build the genre itself. Buck Jones, a hero to a generation of kids, was caught in the Coconut Grove nightclub fire. He didn't make it out, and many said he died the way he lived, thinking of others first. Alan Ladd, the calm, steady face of Shane, left us at only 50 after an accidental mix of alcohol and pills. People who worked with him talk about his quiet kindness, and how that same stillness lived inside the character he made immortal. Brandon D. Wild, the child who called Shane Come Back, with a voice no one can forget, died in a car crash at 30, just as a new chapter seemed within reach. His brief light still feels present every time that final shot plays. Audie Murphy, the most decorated American soldier of his war, who became a dependable Western lead, died in a plane crash on a foggy hillside. Friends said he carried a deep weight, but gave all he had to every role. Steve McQueen, the cool hand from the Magnificent Seven, lost a fast cancer fight in his early 50s. The man who loved engines and open roads ran out of time long before he ran out of grit. Dan Blockerhaus from Bonanza, the gentle giant with a laugh like a warm barn, died suddenly from a blood clot after routine surgery. His cast family never quite got over it, and neither did the audience that saw him as a friend. Peter Duell, the quick, charming star of Alias Smith and Jones, died by his own hand. He struggled in ways fans could not see. His co-star and crew spoke softly about his kindness and the pressure he carried. Ward Bond, the firm trail boss of Wagon Train, collapsed from a heart attack in his late 50s. His no-nonsense style helped define the small-screen Western, and people said the set felt empty without his booming voice. Linda Darnell, who gave the West a rare mix of glamour and grit, died in a house fire while visiting friends. She was only in her early 40s, and her final minutes still break hearts because she had so much left to do. Gail Russell, the shy, soulful partner to John Wayne in Angel and the Badman, died young after years of fighting anxiety and alcohol. Her gentle eyes could carry a whole scene, and many wish she had received more care while the world took her beauty for granted. Nick Adams, the intense star of The Rebel, was found after an overdose with questions that were never fully answered. His energy on screen made his early end feel even sharper. Natalie Wood, who rode into the desert with John Wayne and the Searchers, drowned during a late-night boat trip under circumstances that remain unclear. Decades later, people still argue about it, but what most remember is her raw, aching talent. David Carradine, the drifting hero of the East Meets West series Kung Fu, died alone in a hotel in a way authorities called a tragic accident. For many, it was a shock that clashed with the calm wisdom he gave that role. Heath Ledger, who helped bring a new kind of Western heart to the screen in Brokeback Mountain, died from an accidental mix of medications. He was at a peak of craft, and the quiet in his wake still feels heavy. James Stacy, the handsome lead of Lancer, lived through a terrible motorcycle crash that cost him an arm and a leg. His story is tragic, but also brave, because he fought his way back to acting and inspired others with disabilities to try. Richard Long, the sharp, boyish brother from the Big Valley, died in his 40s after heart troubles. The set where he once sparred and smiled felt to still without him. Tyrone Power, who rode the plains as easily as he wore a sword, collapsed from a heart attack while filming and never finished his last picture. His mixture of grace and strength made his passing feel unreal. James Dean wasn't a cowboy star by trade, but Giant put him under the wide western sky, and his deadly car crash on the way to a race sealed his legend at just 24. Fans visit the crossroads to this day because no one forgets that face. Robert Taylor, who brought us stern, steady as to western leads, died of lung cancer in his 50s. The man who once taught break your horse gently, not by breaking yourself, left a lesson in control and care. Buckskin tough names blur with softer endings to soon. Charles P. Doole's loss reminded crews to look out for each other after long overnight shoots. Linda Darnell's fire brought new attention to home safety and to the quiet pressure placed on women to be perfect. Gail Russell's story shows how fear can live inside talent and how fame without support frays fast. Brandon D. Wild's car crash is a classic what if that hangs over Hollywood like a thin, sad cloud. Dan Blocker's sudden death proved even big hearts are fragile. And Alan Ladd's night of bad luck told a story as old as show business. Sometimes the strongest men still need a hand. Let's widen the circle for a moment. Remember more Western figures gone too soon. Robert Ryan, a tough, thoughtful presence in adult Westerns, died of lung cancer in his early 60s. He spent his last months on stage because acting was his oxygen. Lee Marvin, the lean gunman from Cat Ballou, left in his early 60s too. With illness shortened by a hard-lived life, his slow grin still haunts the genre. John Garfield wasn't known for cowboy roles, but when he put on a hat, he carried real weight. He died young with a troubled heart, another sign that stress kills even the strong. Vic Morrow made westerns before he became famous in war stories and thrillers, and his on-set helicopter accident shook the entire industry. Safety rules changed because of him, and lives were likely saved. There are women whose losses still ache across the western map. Dorothy Malone moved between soap and saddle and died later in life, but her friend Natalia's fate often overshadows the joy they shared on sets. Barbara Payton's fall from stardom into struggle and the young death shows how fast the system can drop someone once the lights dim. Susan Cabot's end was so dark many avoid the details. We can honor her by saying simply that she deserved better care and a gentler life. And Linda Darnell, Gail Russell, and Natalie Wood as a trio remind us that beauty, talent, and fame give no shield against chance, fear, or the deep water of the human heart. One more name belongs here because his passing taught a hard truth to millions who loved him from a prairie. Even if it wasn't a classic six-gun western, Michael Landon. He brought warmth from Bonanza into a new kind of frontier family and died of fast cancer in his 50s. The outpouring proved that wholesome characters can change lives as much as gunfighters do. And while we're here, remember Ward Bond, whose face was the trail itself. His sudden heart attack put a hush over Wagon Train, and the crew kept going in his honor. The lesson in these losses is not to fear the end, but to fill the middle with work that matters and rooms that feel safe. If you're still with me, thank you. It means these names mean something to you too. What do all these stories add up to? First, the Western gave us a code. Step up, stand tall, keep your word, help the weak, watch the road ahead. Second, even legends are human. They get tired, they get sick, they make mistakes. They meet bad luck at bad hours. Third, the work they left, the look over a shoulder, the pause before a draw, the little smile after a win stays. That's the comfort. We can put on an episode, hear a line, and feel that steady hand on our own back again. If this journey moved you, do one more thing for these stars and for the people watching with you. Hit like so. This tribute reaches more hearts. Subscribe so you don't miss the next deep dive. And share in the comments the Western moment that still gives you that quiet breath. I read every note, and I build the next story from your memories. Until then, keep your hat steady, be kind on the trail, and remember, as long as we speak their names, the heroes of the West still ride.